Today, we're jumping into the revolutionary ideas from Dr. David Sinclair's book, Lifespan. It proposes a pretty radical rethinking of aging itself. So let's map out the core arguments, and more importantly, what they mean for you.
Okay, let's dive right in, because the entire book, all of it, is built on one single foundational idea that could change everything we think we know about getting older. This quote right here, this is the core of everything. Dr. Sinclair is basically arguing that aging isn't some natural, inevitable process we just have to shrug our shoulders and accept. No, he's reframing it as a medical condition, a disease that we can and absolutely should fight.
And let's be super clear on this point. This isn't about just trying to become ancient and frail. The goal here is to extend our health span. That's the period of our lives when we're in good health, full of vitality. It's about being able to hike a mountain at 80, not just, making it to 80.
But hang on, how can you call something a disease if it literally happens to everyone? That's a totally fair question, and the book's answer is all about reframing the root cause of our biggest health problems. So look at this contrast. Our current medical system is basically set up to treat diseases one by one as they pop up. Heart disease over here, cancer over there. Sinclair argues this is like playing a game of whack-a-mole. You're just hitting the symptoms. The real target, the underlying process that makes all of these diseases way more likely, is aging itself. The book uses this really powerful thought experiment to flip our perspective. Just imagine, if your family were the only ones getting frail and sick at 80 while everyone else was healthy and vibrant, doctors would for sure classify it as some kind of rare disease, and they'd be racing to find a cure. The only reason we accept aging as normal is because it's universal. And you know what? This idea is no longer just a theory. In 2022, something quietly revolutionary happened. The World Health Organization introduced a brand new diagnostic code into its official manual. That's right. For the very first time, old age is an official classifiable condition. This simple code, MG2A, is a total game changer. Why? Because it opens the door for researchers to actually develop and test treatments that specifically target the aging process itself, not just the individual diseases it causes. So here we are at our first big action point. It's a mental shift, but it is a powerful one. The next time you go for a run or choose a salad, don't just think, oh, this is good for my heart. Reframe it. You are practicing anti-aging medicine. You are actively treating the root cause. Okay, so if aging is a treatable disease, can we go a step further? Can we actually reverse it? Well, the book says yes, and the secret lies in how our cells store and read information. To really get this, we need to stop thinking about our biology like a car that just wears out. Instead, think of it more like a computer that can be rebooted. It all comes down to two kinds of information inside every single one of your cells. So, on one hand, you've got your DNA. That's the digital information. Think of it like the hard drive, the original source code that's incredibly stable. But then you've got the epigenome. This is the analog information. Think of it as the software that reads the DNA. It's the system that tells your genes when to turn on and off, which is what makes a skin cell different from a brain cell, even though they have the exact same DNA. And this right here is the information theory of aging in a nutshell. Sinclair argues that we don't age because our digital DNA code gets messed up. We age because the analog reader, the epigenome, gets scratched and full of static over time. Cells get confused. They forget what they're supposed to be doing. But here's the amazing part. Just like you can polish a scratched DVD, the science suggests we might be able to reset the epigenome. Now, if this all sounds a little bit too much like science fiction, let's bring it down to a really powerful, real-world example. From the book, Dr. Sinclair's own father. By his 70s, he was facing what most of us consider the inevitable decline of old age. Diabetes, constant fatigue, the works. But after he started incorporating some of the science back to lifestyle changes that are outlined in the book, the transformation was, it was profound. It wasn't just about his lab numbers getting better. It was about a total restoration of joy and vitality. His spark came back. Just look at this list. At 80 years old, he's starting a new career, he's hiking mountains, whitewater rafting. This is the very definition of adding life to your years. He wasn't just not sick anymore, he was out there adventuring. So, okay, this science is absolutely fascinating, but what can we actually do about it? Let's get into the practical stuff, the playbook, an action plan that you can literally start today.
The book's playbook is all about waking up our body's ancient survival circuits. And the key concept is something called hormesis. It's basically the idea that brief, manageable doses of stress can actually make the body stronger and more resilient. So, we're talking about things like eating less often, stressing our muscles with intense exercise, and even eating stressed plants because their defense chemicals can trigger our own.
And that brings us to our second action point. You don't have to do everything all at once. Just pick one thing. Try skipping breakfast one day this week. Add one high-intensity interval to your workout. The goal is just to introduce a little bit of recoverable stress to make your whole system more robust.
Okay, finally, the book pushes us to think bigger. Because if we actually succeed in dramatically extending our health span, it won't just change our personal lives, it will completely reshape society itself. Just imagine a world with a drastically lower burden of disease, a world where people stay productive and creative for decades longer than we do now. It would totally transform our economy, our ideas about careers and retirement, even the structure of our families. So to recap the playbook real quick, first, reframe your thinking. Every healthy choice is an active anti-aging medicine. Second, pick just one form of positive stress to start building your resilience. And that all brings us to the ultimate question the book leaves us with. It's not really a technical problem, it's a human one. With an extra 20, 30, maybe 40 healthy years, what will we do with them? How will we fill that time with purpose? The challenge isn't just to live longer, it's to live better.